Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm trying something a bit different. I want to talk about something that is more with the health and the body, as this has been something that's been lingering on my mind that I have been called to share, that I think someone needs to hear from me and my experience, and then also because this is directly what is going on in my life right now that I feel will help other people. So today I want to talk about regulating your nervous system. I know that's a big buzzword that's being thrown around, but it's really important, and I'm glad a lot of more people are talking about it because this is something that directly tied to your overall well-being in life. And so keeping this at the forefront when you're stressed, you're triggered, or you're feeling out of alignment is really going to help pull you back and center you where you need to be so you can thrive and still continue to be your best self. I also did mention before, because I know a lot of people will put a disclaimer before their videos. I am not a professional. I'm not a therapist. I didn't go to school for anything. I have just been learning and grasping from either reading or other people or from other people's experience to be able to apply to my life. So everything that I'm sharing today are things that I have learned what works for me. So take what resonates and then leave what doesn't, because I know that one size does not fit all, and just because this works for me and this is my truth, it doesn't mean it'll be yours. So keep that in mind. So why is regulating your nervous system important? It directly impacts your overall well-being, with you being able to effectively manage your stress, anxiety. It helps to bring you back into your calmness, back into your body, feeling grounded and anchored and centered in whatever situation may be going on, which in return helps you to focus on solutions versus the problem itself and how you are feeling. It helps for you to also distinguish between the fight and flight response. That I know that is another buzz term that's being thrown around. We think about trauma and the different ways that we process it. Some of us fight, some of us flight, and I know there's another one, freeze, but it helps for you to regulate with that. And then it also helps with the rest and digest response, which helps you to, like I said before, effectively come up with solutions to the problem that is triggering you, and then just to promote an overall calmness in your physical and mental health. Now, you can see why that would play a huge part in your overall well-being, because in life, which is something we're all tied into, are hardships and difficult times that come with challenges and ways for you to, or different ways for you to learn to maneuver through those situations. And so if you can effectively regulate your nervous system to be able to navigate through any stressors in life, you will help your body to stay more in a calm state, staying out of the fight and flight mode, and helping your body to still process through things in an appropriate, proper way so you're able to thrive. So I just want to talk about 5 ways that I have been regulating my nervous system, and kind of dive more into detail about what has helped me, in return hopefully inspiring you to be able to do the same thing in your life. So number 1, friends, I've had to set limits on social media and limit the amount of times, how often I'm scrolling on social media. So as an active content creator, I am always on social medias, and I'm talking all the platforms from Pinterest, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, of course, Lemonade, except for X and Twitter. I don't do all that, and I don't do Threads. But regardless, I'm always on the platforms, and because I'm a full-time creator trying to make a profit and money from this, building a community and an audience, being online is where I have to be for that to, foster and prosper in the way that I want it to. But because I go online to look for inspiration, I go online to engage with my community. It's a two-way street when it comes to social media, and just also looking at my stats, analytics, and different things like that, and looking at other creators, I've had to set limits, because one thing I'm noticing is that if I'm online and just constantly consuming, I'm feeling less creative to be able to do my own work and to apply my own lens and perspective to whatever content or creation/art that I'm trying to put out into the world. So really keeping in mind that setting limits not only helps with my creativeness and being able to produce in the best way possible, but it also helps with limiting the comparison. I think it's just very obvious and inevitable in some ways, getting on social media because people are posting their highlight reel. that you can compare yourself and where you're at, how you look, what you have to others. And so we all know social media is fake, and if you don't, you should know that a lot of people are posting a highlight reel, and not all of it may be true, and we may not be seeing all of the story. So that's one thing I have to keep in the forefront when I am online, but also because the comparison thoughts still come up, that's another reason why I've had to set limits. And because I am a creator, like sitting down in a sanitary spot and just kind of strolling, either like hunched over, I have to be mindful of my posture, of my body, making sure that that is also in a great state. And then the blue light screen in my eyes, like all of that really puts on a lot of pressure and stress on your body that can cause you not even knowing to be out of sync and unregulated. And this can manifest and pour over in other parts of your life. Like I said, for me, my creativeness, just feeling like stuck rut, comparing myself to others and not really knowing why, but that can be a source for it. So setting limits on social media, I think, is super important. Just overall in general, even if you're not a creator, it'll make for an overall better life, so you can be present in all the moments that you're experiencing, because that is why you're here. Second, I have stopped saying yes to everything when I'm asked. Recovering people pleaser here, so I grew up seeing the women in my family always saying yes, bending over backwards without considering themselves first to put others before them. And I've seen how that can take a toll not only on their physical health, but also their mental, and how that spills over into the other loved ones who are watching you, especially as we're growing up and seeing your dynamic with others. So I do know that that spilled over to me as I grew up. I had that people-pleasing tendency, but it did not serve me. And as I am growing more into myself, I'm healing, I'm working through shadows and wounds, I'm learning that the people-pleasing syndrome is something that I need to drop and to stop saying yes to everything, because that puts a lot of pressure on you as an individual to show up for others who, one, may not be doing the same for you. They just know that you'll say yes, and they know that they could take advantage of the people-pleasing. But then also checking in with your body. If something is out of alignment and it's not what you want to do, and you're not going to put your best foot forward, it won't be intentional with where you want to go, why do it? For me, most of the time, it's to people please, to make sure someone else feels good or like I'm helping them. But in return, people pleasing is kind of selfish, because you are trying to protect yourself by doing X, Y, Z or whatever for another person. But really, you should be putting yourself first and checking in with your body, which also helps to strengthen your intuition in the long term. Is this something that I really want to do? Set an intention and just make sure it's in alignment with your desires and where you're going to be that best version of yourself, because saying yes to everything can definitely burn you out and can dysregulate your nervous system. Number 3, I have stopped engaging in self-sabotaging behavior. And by this, I mean escapism. Specifically for me, it was for substances and pretty much anything external outside of myself. When uncomfortableness or feelings that I don't want to deal with and I want to feel numb or just escape it pops up. So for me, like I said, substances, it would usually be alcohol and would be wine, because I am on a mission to get 4 abs by the end of the year. Regardless, I just know that escapism and relying on those things does not serve me in the long run. And what does serve you is being able to feel those emotions when they come up. I just think that is so powerful for someone who is triggered and knows that it's going to be okay. These emotions are temporary. You can sit there with those feelings, allow them to flow, allow yourself to feel them, engage with them fully, and then be able to release them. So you're not stuck in victimhood. You're not stuck with it being left in your body in different areas, being triggered when something else pops up because you haven't dealt and felt all of those emotions. And that is part of the healing process, especially when we think about growing up as kids, and then you have your trauma, you get older and you realize that I actually need to deal with this because it's affecting different and other areas of my life. You don't want to get to the point where those triggers that you're not in tune with are showing up in different places and not making you the best person that you want to be, the best version of yourself that you want to be. So if you can allow yourself to feel them in the moment when they come up, or you're triggered, you're dealing with some trauma or some challenges, I think overall in the long run that's going to help you, versus reaching for the escapism, reaching for something to numb you. Even your phone, that can be a part of that too. Whatever addiction or vices that you have in your life, It's just time to reconsider your relationship with them. When are you choosing to pick them up? When are you choosing to engage with them? Are you allowing your body to feel the emotions, because that's part of your human experience here that you need, but then also realizing that those emotions are temporary. They're not going to last forever. You can work through them. You don't have to stay the victim in that circumstance. I stopped reaching for those substances and things thinking that it'll help me, and then put my best foot forward to focus on solutions for whatever it may be. So I empower myself to sit through those emotions, to sit through whatever is there, and to realize all of this is working for my highest good and is going to help me evolve into the best version of myself and who I'm truly meant to be while I'm here on this earth. Number 4, I have stopped carrying the shame from others that is projected from my wants and my desires and my needs. I had to let that go. When you realize to the core the belief that your life, one, is worth living, you are valid because you are here on earth to live your life in the best way possible. And one size, like I said, does not fit all. And when you can release expectations from other people, whether that's your parents, loved ones, your job, society, whatever the case may be, when you can release those projections and expectations, usually unrealistic, that they're probably not even living up to, and then follow your own path, being in tune with your alignment and where and how that's supposed to be, because typically it's projected things that they're not able to look inside themselves. And if they're judging you, it's something that they're judging within themselves. And typically we are all mirrors of each other. So if you are triggered by someone or someone is triggered by you, your light, your skills, it is something within them that they need to work on, and realize that that has nothing to do with you as an individual. If you have a certain thing you want to do in life, or you have an expectation or desire or want or a need in life that you want to have in your human experience, you are allowed to do that. You are valid for that. And just because someone else's view of life, society, how they grew up, and what has been conditioned and programmed into them is still there, and they're not able to release that, and realizing that you as an individual can do what you want, you can take your power back. And I just think that is so important. A lot of us are scared or have a lot of fear to do things because of other people's projections, how they will perceive you. Really working on your self-concept to get you to a place where you validate yourself. You don't need it from other people. You don't need any external forces guiding you, telling you to do X, Y, Z, because you know deep down inside of yourself, because you've done the work, you know what you want, you know what your desires are, because you have taken the time to sit down and realize, is it society's conditioning and programming as to why I want X, Y, Z, or is it because it's truly what I want? I've sat with myself, I've thought through these things and know what I am meant to do here and what I want here. So those are some things to do to guide you through, like, what do I actually want? And once you get there, releasing the shame from other people is really going to help you with your nervous system, because a lot of the times when we're anxious to be perceived or to put ourselves out there or to just do something in general is because of other people. And that dysregulates your nervous system. And we don't need all that. Fifth and final one, I have stopped speaking down on myself. That inner critic in your head, some people call it your ego, gone, shut down, stopped. When that inner critic comes up, because it does come up, I try to replace that with affirmations and really try to reparent myself with thoughts that if I had a child who was speaking out loud to me like this, what would I say to them to help them feel that they are still capable and that they're still valid? One, to feel how they're feeling. Just because you've seen something that has triggered you or a limiting belief has come up, it does not mean that that is truth and that is fact. I just think that is so important. Like, the key to this is working on your self-concept. And through that, there's many different ways you can work on your self-concept. Going to a therapist or speaking with a loved one, journaling. I know personally that's helped me. Meditation, listening to subliminals paired with affirmations to really help reprogram your subconscious mind really helps with your self-concept. And when you work on your self-concept, you'll know when that inner critic or that inner voice comes up that's so negative and so hard on you when it shouldn't be, you can reparent yourself and let yourself know that, hey, no, we're shutting that down. Really drop it into your body and telling your body that it is safe. You are safe. Usually the thoughts come up because the ego is trying to protect you from something new, something you haven't experienced before, or even just the thoughts that are still programmed in you from a child growing up to now. that just come up. Conscious brain doesn't really know the difference. It's just trying to protect you in the moment or with the limiting beliefs that come up. Also, the last thing I want to say with this is detaching yourself from outcomes. And what that looks like is, I hope I don't lose anyone here, is realizing that in this body, you are just the awareness, the consciousness that is experiencing and observing everything that is happening around you. So what I mean by that in this case is that when a thought pops up, you are just observing that. You're just observing the thought. It has come into your awareness and you're allowing it to be there. You could get curious about it. That's one thing that I've been doing a lot lately, is just getting curious about it. Why is this here? Thinking about the worst thing that could happen, which is what our brains usually go to, and then saying, but what if that doesn't happen? Thinking through other thoughts with that as well. Just observing the thoughts that come into your sphere, not engaging with them, not putting more fire into that fuel, and just letting them be. The thoughts come up. That doesn't mean that they're fact. That doesn't mean that your life is gonna go into shambles because you have thought this. It's not gonna ruin any law of attraction. It's not going to ruin you getting your desires or whatever outcome you're looking for. But just observing, I think, is a really good key in being able to detach and knowing that just because a thought is there, it doesn't mean that it's you, and it doesn't mean that that's gonna be your future. In conclusion, friends, knowing the difference can make all the difference as you're moving throughout your day-to-day life and really working on becoming the best version of yourself. If you can find tools that really help you, especially with regulating your nervous system when challenges do come up, because they will, and being able to not react right in the moment with the first thing that pops into your head, but allowing your body to process the emotions, the feelings, what has been triggered, and then being able to actively and consciously look for solutions that are really going to help your situation, which in return is going to help you learn, bringing you closer into alignment with your higher self. Even though most of it is mindset and just like habits, there is a whole sphere of physical things that you can actually do too, with breath work, body movements, to be able to help process those emotions too. So that's something that I would look into. I hope this helps anyone. I hope it resonates. And like I said before earlier, if it does, take it. If it doesn't, leave it, and it is all good. But cheers to healing, cheers to growth and working on regulating our nervous systems, because you deserve that and you deserve to live your best life. Thanks for watching.